All right, y'all. So this is Anthony Allen, CEO of Old Schooner Transport, and this video is going to be called "So You Want to Be the Boss?" It's a fair question. For those of y'all that are looking to get into hotshotting, which is what I do, I don't have any Class 8s. I would love some Class 8s, but unfortunately, I don't. Some of y'all may not know what a Class 8 vehicle is. That would be your Peterbilt, Kenworth, big truck, 18-wheeler. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that. So, just to simplify things, since I can't afford it right now, I'm running a hotshot rig. Those of y'all may not know what a hotshot rig actually is. Well, if you're watching this video, you probably do. Basically, I'm driving a Dodge Ram 3500 dually, and I pull a 48-foot flatbed trailer hooked up to a gooseneck type coupling device, and I'm over the country. I'm all over the country. I've made good money with this. I've made a lot of good money. In fact, if you look at my gross pay, I'm a rich man. I'm not gonna sit there and say that it's been all bad. A lot of it's actually been pretty good. Just going by my gross, I make more money than I probably ever have in my life. But then you start talking about deductions. And this is where I want to get into this, because a lot of guys will go on these Facebook groups, and I've seen them. And they'll see these guys go, "Oh, I made $10,000 this week." Did you really? Did you really do $10,000 though? Maybe you did. And then somebody else that don't know nothing about trucking will say, "Oh, well, man, if he can make $10,000 a week, man, I got decent credit. I can go get me a truck and a trailer, and I'll come out here and I'll come run it. I'll come make $10,000 a week." So you don't know nothing about trucking. Maybe you do, but for the purpose of this story, let's assume that you don't. Me, I've been in trucking for 17 years. But let's assume, for the purpose of this conversation, that you know nothing about trucking. So you don't go buy a truck. You go get a Dodge Ram 3500 like I did. Even if you don't sign on with the people that I'm signed on with, which I'm signed on with Hotshot 107. They're out of Zanesville, Ohio. I'm running under somebody else's authority. For the simple fact that at the moment, I can't afford my own authority. It's just not in my budget. My eventual goal is to get my own authority. But at the moment, I'm stuck running under somebody else's. Sorry if you see me wiping my eyes. Allergies are killing me today. So I want to apologize for that off the rip. But let's just say that you want to go ahead and you want to run Hotshot. So you buy a truck. Let's assume you have the money to get your own authority. I've seen guys pay as little as $4,000 a month for that. I got quoted with my credit is shot, but I got quoted at um, $37,000 a year, and that was running a 30-year-old truck. I no longer have that truck. But let's assume that you go ahead and you get on to $4,000 a month. It's $1,000 a week, give or take. It's not that bad. You can make that. Okay. So you get your own authority, you get your own truck, you get your own trailer, but you don't have a CDL. If you don't have a CDL, you ain't got to worry about IFTA. Go get you a B26 tag and you're good. Some states call it a weighted tag. Mississippi, we call it a B26. B26 means you're legal to haul up to 26,000 pounds. And with a B26 tag, that is the highest B tag that you can cross state lines with. So you go and you get all this. Now you're rolling. You done spent all this money. I spent about $30,000 on a truck. You can spend about 10 to 20 on a trailer, depending on how you want it set up. Remember, that 26,000 is your gross. Me sitting in this truck, I add 300 pounds to my gross. That's not counting all my stuff I have in here, my personal stuff. Takes away. Some guys will go get an auxiliary tank. Well, if you get a 100-gallon auxiliary tank, a gallon of diesel weighs 8 pounds, that's 800 pounds. So between me and assuming I had an auxiliary tank, if I'm limited to 26,000 pounds, that's 1,100 pounds off the top. Plus the weight of the truck, which is about 6,000 pounds, the weight of the trailer, you might look in between 8 and 10 depending on what's on it, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, depending on how you have it configured. Let's go with a round figure and say 10,000 pounds on the trailer, 6,000 pounds on the truck. That's 16,000 pounds. Let's say an extra 200 pounds for all your stuff, an extra 250 pounds for you. That's an extra 450 pounds, so we're at 16,450. Let's leave out the tank. What you get is now you can only haul about 9,500 pounds of freight. By the way, I forgot to mention your load securement stuff. That stuff's heavy. Straps, chains, binders. You might be looking at another 200-300 pounds in that. Now we're going down some more. So let's say by the time it's all said and done, you can haul about 8,500 pounds. So you go out here, you know nothing about trucking. Somebody mentions the fact that you need an E-log, so at least you're running that. And a pre-pass. Now, if you listen to some of these guys, oh, I don't stump at scales, I don't run logbooks. Go ahead. I dare you. I want you to. I almost beg you to do this. I really just about beg you to do this. And when DOT shuts you down, takes your equipment, takes your load, and sends you off from the scale in an Uber, and you wonder why you just lost everything, don't come crying to me. I'm going to give it to you straight. I run pre-pass, which you're not required to run a pre-pass, but it's a convenience. You are required to run E-log. Not to mention, you got to have all your permits. Permit book. All this stuff here gives you the authority to run. There's a lot involved with this. But you know nothing about trucking for the purpose of this conversation. You want to get into it. I'm not trying to discourage you. I don't think you could find a $30,000 dually right now. Sorry, hat's bothering me. I don't think you could find a $30,000 dually right now. Anywhere. Not one that you can immediately put on the road. You might get lucky. I got lucky. Trucks are at a premium right now. For what I've got for 30, you may spend 50 on it. And that's the truth. And I've got 300 and almost 3,000 miles on this truck. It's a 2013. So, 10-year-old truck almost. There was a time where I could have bought this truck probably for about $12,000, $13,000. You buy an old truck, you better be prepared to do the maintenance on it. A lot of y'all don't understand trucker GPS. You better go to the truck stop and go buy a Rand McNally or a Garmin geared for trucks. Don't go get the one that's, $69. It's a tablet. You better go get the one that's geared for big trucks. This Dodge may as well say Peterbilt on it. This is a commercial motor vehicle engaged in interstate commerce. Even though right now I don't have a trailer on the back, I'm bobtailing. There's a reason for it. I do have a trailer. That's through the people that I'm leased on to, but I'll get to that later. I do other things for them. That's why I'm bobtailing sitting in North Carolina right now. So you go ahead, you run this. You go on truckstop.com, which is about the bottom of the barrel, but you got a brand new authority. That may be your only option. Bottom of the barrel now. You go ahead, you get your load. Now you just seen this guy post that he's made $10,000 in a week. Your first load is $1,500. And it goes 600 miles. It's not a bad rate for starting out. You might find another one that you pick up pretty close to. Hopefully you don't have to deadhead too far. It may be $2,500 and it goes 1,500 miles. Rate's getting a little bit shitty, but hey, you're just starting out. It's the only broker that'll talk to you because you have a brand new authority. You haven't aged your authority yet. That's the truth in trucking, in Hotshot. Well, really in all trucking. You have to age your authority really about 3 months before you can start getting decent rates. Before more brokers will stop looking at you like a fly-by-night and somebody who's actually serious. Okay, so you do all this. Are you making $10,000 a week? No. You might. You might get lucky. Right now, rates are down. I don't understand why. You know what? I do understand why, because people are running cheap freight. I don't run cheap freight. The people that I'm leased on to, they don't run cheap freight. But a lot of people are running cheap freight. A lot of people will take these these dollar a mile loads and $1.50 a mile loads and paying $5 a gallon for diesel. My truck on flat ground with a low load, when I say low, I mean below the cab of the truck. I'm in, mind you, flatbed. On flat ground, I average about 10 miles to the gallon if I'm lucky. In the mountains, get down to about 7 If I'm high, you can lower it from there. Remember, we could be up to 13.6. 13.6 in the mountains, doesn't matter the way the load, it's the mass of the load. How high and how wide. How high are you and how wide are you? If you're end to end on the trailer in 13.6, doesn't matter if it's a 2,000 pound or a 22,000 pound load, your mileage is going to suck. It is what it is. Now, again, this is not to discourage you, this is to give you full disclosure. You know what I haven't talked about? I've been on this for about 16 minutes. What I haven't talked about is maintenance. That's a big thing in this business. Running full synthetic, I can get about 10,000 miles between oil change. If I'm running 3,000 miles a week, that means I can run about 3 weeks and change my oil. I run a Dodge with a G56 6-speed manual transmission. I wish I wouldn't have. This is the 5th clutch and 4th transmission I put in this truck. These transmissions just ain't meant for it. I now have a South Bend single plate clutch instead of the dual plate that came with it, and it wasn't a South Bend. It was, whatever Dodge put in it. Everybody knows Cummins are great. The weak point of a Dodge is the transmission. These G56s are just not meant to haul this kind of weight. They're not meant to do what we do with these trucks. I'm trying to save up about $8,000 so I can buy an Allison. I put an Allison behind this Cummins, I have one hell of a bulletproof truck. I'm going to hate to give up my manual, but it is what it is. I'll sacrifice that for reliability. If your wheels ain't burning, you ain't earning. Fuel, as I mentioned, is over $5 a gallon. I've seen it close to $6. I've seen it above $6 a gallon out here. That's expensive. When I came out here 2 years ago, it was $2 and some change a gallon. Not going to get into why. Doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter who's to blame. I'm not going to get into politics on this. This is about what it's going to take for you to run this shit. I have one truck. If this truck goes down, I don't drive for a major company. I drive for myself. Yes, I'm leased on to somebody, but if this thing goes down, you think they got another truck they're going to put me in? No. Hotshot 107 is 99.9% owner-operators. You own the truck. You think they got another truck to put me in? No, I'm just losing revenue. My truck payment is $860 a month. It's a lot of money. Getting with Hotshot 107, assuming you decide to go with them, which I recommend, they're good people. I'm proud to call them all friends of mine. I've dealt with them for 2 years, and I like them. You don't have to buy a trailer. You go through their trailer program. They got a good one. They got 40s and 48s. So you go through their trailer program. They're going to charge you about $300 a week. Start doing the math on this stuff. This is not an easy life. This is not something that anybody can just jump into. My personal preference, a lot of people will disagree with me. Even the guys at Hotshot 107 will disagree with me. And I know they're really going to disagree with what I'm fixing to say, and this is not a representation of them, this is me. I think it ought to be illegal to come out here and do interstate commerce without a CDL. I firmly believe that. As libertarian as I am, I believe that you need to have a CDL. Number one, you're not limited to 26,000 pounds. My truck is apportioned at 40. I hope I'm never that heavy with this truck, at least until I get the transmission I want in it. But my truck is apportioned at 40,000 pounds. The trailer that I pull is rated for about 21,000 in freight. I can put 21,000 pounds of freight on it. Trailer weighs, the 48 that I pull weighs about 12. So let's just say 20, 12, that's 32. Weight of the truck, 6, it's 38. If I max that trailer out, I'm just about maxed out on my portion. With me, my securement, everything that's in it, I'm right about where I need to be, or where my max is. I'm running under Bella Freight out of Circleville, Ohio. Running under their authority. Not a bad authority. Not at all. They're good people. The guy that owns it, Mike Cessna, jam up guy. My dispatcher is awesome. I'm fortunate to have this option. Again, this is not an advertisement for them. I encourage you to do whatever you feel comfortable doing. You may go and sign on with Leroy and Bubba out of Gulfport, Mississippi. They got a spot on their insurance for you. You got your own truck and trailer. You got your own tag, your own equipment. Leroy and Bubba out of Gulfport, Mississippi may go ahead and take you. Or they may not. Leroy and Bubba don't exist. I just made that up. But you need to know what you got going on here. You need to know what you're doing. If you're an owner operator and you're responsible for your maintenance, my suggestion is, and this is important, take 5% of your net and put into an interest-bearing account and don't touch it. Do not touch it. That's your oh shit fund. Your oh shit fund is going to pay you if you need a transmission, if you need an engine, if you need a clutch, if you need whatever. That's not your savings account. That's not your retirement account. That's your oh shit fund. Let's assume you do this on your own. You're going to need to worry about something called factoring. I can't go 30 days without a paycheck. I'm sure you can't either. You got a truck payment coming up. You got insurance coming up. Assuming you run your own authority, you better figure in factoring. They're going to take about 1 to 3% of your income. But they'll pay you within about 2 days. You run your load, you submit your bills, you submit your rate con, they'll pay you. These are things that y'all need to look at. A lot of people don't know all this stuff. There's a lot I still don't know, and I've been at this. I've been in trucking 17 years. I've been in Hotshot for 2. Something else, true story, happened to me. November of 2020. Now, I feel like I'm a little overweight, but I feel like I'm in reasonably good shape. I'm 38 years old. I drink stuff I shouldn't drink. I smoke. A little overweight, as I said. But aside from that, I feel like I'm in reasonably good shape. I was in Cedar City, Utah, about 30 miles north of St. George. God, these allergies are kicking my ass. I fell off a trailer, and I broke my left arm in 3 places, and I broke my right wrist. Driving for somebody else. I was in their equipment. Got screwed on it by them, but whatever. But let's take that element out of it. Let's just say you're driving for yourself. If you're driving for yourself and you get hurt, you're out of business for a while. Meanwhile, a truck payment's still racking up. Insurance payment's still racking up. Payment on a trailer's still racking up. You still have bills. Say you get a couple of months ahead. You have some good weeks, you get a couple months ahead on your payments. Great. Congratulations. You going to be able to throw tarps wearing a cast? I don't think so. I wasn't. I certainly was not. I would look into some kind of health insurance or supplemental, but that's expensive. Supplemental's not expensive. You can get Colonial or Aflac. I worked for the state of Florida and we had Colonial. I had to pay for it, but hey, it is what it is. They work about the same. It'll at least give you some income. What if you get out here and you get a ticket? Your insurance rates just went through the roof if you got a ticket. If your insurance rates go through the roof, what are you doing? You're not doing a damn thing. You're done. Could be anyway. You got to take time out of your busy day to go back over there and go to court and fight it. They do have prepaid legal programs out there, U.S. Legal, Legal Shield, stuff like that. And they'll help you out with your ticket. They'll represent you in court, etc. Things I would look into. And they're pretty reasonable. But you need to understand that these are risks that you take out on the road. What if you have an accident? What if you're in a truck stop, you're asleep, and Swift backs over your hood of your truck. Yeah, you're going to get paid. Might take a minute, depending on how bad you decide to knock them over the head, how good your lawyer is, but you're out of business. Granted, you're probably not going to have a truck payment after that. Your truck's probably going to get totaled. Insurance will cover that. But if you're like me and you're upside down on your truck, what are you doing? Nothing. Get gap insurance. It may cover the entire cost of the truck, but you're not working now. Yeah, you might get a payday eventually, a year or two from now. What are you going to do in the meantime? Go back and work at McDonald's? These are things y'all need to think about out here before you come out here. I think about them every day. I think about my risk every day, my liabilities every day. Things that y'all need to think about. Being the boss is a great feeling. Nobody tells me nothing. The guys I'm running with at Hotshot 107 don't tell me anything. I say that to say this. My dispatcher will get on to me if I do something that he sees is not going to be beneficial to my business. But we are friends, and I'll let him speak to me in a way that he'll get away with more than a stranger will. Because I do respect him. Because he does respect me. And again, like I said, we are friends. Friends can get away, It's kind of like the old saying, your best friend's the only one allowed to whoop your ass. That's kind of like how I am with them. But let's just say I left Hotshot 107, which I don't see myself doing at all, ever. But let's say for the moment that I did. And I went to work under Leroy and Bubba. And Leroy and Bubba decides they wanted to tell me something and order me and tell me what to do. They're not going to get away with it unless I built that rapport with them. That's the feeling of being the boss. Yes, I can go home every weekend if I want to. I have that option. I could call my dispatcher right now and say, get me a load to Miami. I want to spend the weekend in Miami. They probably will get me pretty close, if not all the way there. And hanging out in Miami's fun. I lived there for a year and a half. Got a lot of friends down there. And Vela, if you're listening, I'd love to have some of your ceviche. But how hard is it to get out of South Florida with a load? Pretty hard. There's not a lot coming out. You need to be prepared to stay out here at least 6, 7, 8 weeks at a time. So if you got a wife and kids at home, it's probably not the career choice for you. And I'm being honest. If you're worried about Jody, stay out of trucking. Being honest with you. I'm not going to sit there and blow smoke up your ass. I'm going to tell you the way it is. This is your business. This is my business right here. I own this truck. I know what it takes to run this truck. In order for me to run this truck successfully and make money, I need to stay out here on the road. If I am not staying out here on the road, I'm losing money. In the trucking industry, you're either making money or losing money. A dollar not made is a dollar lost. Again, $860 a month truck payment. That's what being the boss is. Being the boss is not sitting in some office and telling somebody what to do. You think I can afford to hire a driver right now? Absolutely not. Not with my bills. I'm out here driving. If I could afford to hire a driver, I'd love it. I'd go back to work in a jail where I'd have my state benefits. But that brings up another point. You hire a driver, they get out here and they tear your equipment up. Or you're like me, you live in Mississippi. You put a driver in this truck. They get out to Phoenix, Arizona, and they just leave it sitting in the truck stop and go, hey, I quit. You got to go get your truck, or you're just going to lose it. There's two kinds of things out here on the road. There's assets and liabilities. Things that are assets can also be liabilities. A driver in your truck could be an asset because you're going to make money off of them. But it also could be a liability because you can lose money off of them too. If he's careless and gets into an accident, you're responsible. He may be at the helm, but you're the captain of the ship. If he gets out here and, God forbid, kills somebody in your truck, you're done. And you better have the insurance to cover it. Because that can get up into the 7 figures real quick. Yes, I said 7 figures. Especially if they can prove that he was negligent in any way, shape, or form. Texting on his phone and driving, not looking, not paying attention, and all of a sudden he runs and kills some family of 4, you're done. Yeah, he's going to jail, but they're coming after you. You may have a great driver. You may have somebody that's going to get in your truck, take care of it just like it was his. Make sure that all the maintenance is done on it. Call you up when the check engine light comes on and say, hey, we might want to check this out. Because, hey, look, I'm running your truck and I'm a responsible guy. It can happen. Or you may get Mr. Shit Biscuit that just doesn't care. Assets, liabilities. Y'all think about it. And if you still think this is for you, welcome to the Brotherhood. I wish you all the luck in the world. I don't care, again, as long as you do it safe and do it right, do it legal, I wish you all the luck in the world. If you're not going to be safe, doing it right, doing it legal, get off my highway. That's how I feel. Y'all have a good day. Be safe.